Hey everyone, I know it's been a bit since an upload. A lot of life changes are going on between a brand new job, house hunting, my personal Instagram was totally hacked,
Try 000 000.
holidays and a lot more. Look, I hope every decent person watching is having a good holiday season, and let's get into it. So I've got a lot of videos that I want to make going over different photo modes, new features, and so on, but for today, and likely through the end of the year, I'm just going to do my favorite photo modes that came out this year. I've done this the past 2 years, and I'm going to do it again. Also, please go check out the Photo Mode Awards done by Mick at the Fourth Focus. He has been such a legend in the virtual photography community, and these awards are so much fun. There's voting, and you can even submit your own work. And if you think you're not good enough, you're wrong. Put yourself out there, and remember that win or lose, you are creating something, and that is important in and of itself. Okay, so the first photo mode that I want to talk about is Alan Wake 2. This is just a phenomenal photo mode, particularly in the lighting, and that's kind of what my video, if you'd seen it or not, goes over, is that the lighting is so realistic. It handles light and accurate bouncing and refraction so well. And I thought Alan Wake had a lot of just like standard tools that are really nice, particularly for new photographers. So like they had different pre-made settings for macro photography, wide, so on. I thought this was really great for people who are just trying to get into it. They're not really sure how all these tools might work. This photo mode was super good, super user friendly, and yeah, again, the game is just utterly gorgeous. One of the best looking games out today. Fantastic. All right, next up is Dragon Age, and while I didn't totally love this game, I beat the campaign and I felt that was all I needed out of it, I thought the photo mode was really serviceable. Not only is the world really stylized and pretty, I particularly liked taking portraits of different characters. If you follow me on Blue Sky, Harding is my ride or die. I loved snapping photos of her. I honestly thought the range on the photo mode was really spectacular. You could really just bring it out. Now, of course, there's no lights and there's no time of day, which kind of stinks. And, that's something that I do really appreciate in a photo mode. But nonetheless, I think the world was worth capturing. Beautiful. Good stuff. All right, next up is Pacific Drive. And not only did this add a great photo mode midway through its release this year, but it was also one of my favorite games of the entire year. And I am still playing it. It is that good. If you haven't seen my video, go check that out. I absolutely rave about this game. I love it. It is the best indie game I've played in a long time. And the photo mode was just a blast. They added so many interesting little things in this photo mode that you don't find in other photo modes. So, not only do you have some funky things like, again, camera range, you could literally go underneath the map and really take it far. A lot of games are afraid to do that, and I love to see Pacific Drive do it. A lot of the stylistic stuff between like time of day and also changing things like the fog amount or changing, one of my favorite things was you could change how the environment looked. So you could take the environmental effects of another location, say like, a foresty effect, and you could apply it to something like a bog. This really helped to make things look unique. And for instance, in the bog, if you apply something like the forest lighting or environmental effect, it actually makes the bog look more like a fall sort of aesthetic place. Also, shout out to the filters on Pacific Drive, the blueprint, the little wireframe stuff. Really cool, really inventive, and yeah, Pacific Drive, fantastic game. Fantastic photo mode. Next, I want to talk about this other game, Bulwark, which I'm including because I not only thought the game was unique, but the photo mode had such an interesting feel to it where you could really interact with this photo mode as if you were this like drone pilot. You are flying around, you can get really close to the structures that you build, which is one of the cool things about the game is, you're looking at everything from this bird's eye view, but the photo mode really lets you get in and look at things as if you're on the ground floor looking at these cities. I also really appreciated the time-lapse feature that this photo mode had where you could play back your building in its entirety. This was super cool for creating little, cinematic moments showing like how your structure was built. And yeah, this game is really cool. It's really stylized, very moody, great photo mode. And last but not least, as you could assume, what I consider the best photo mode of the year is actually Hellblade II, Senua's Saga. Now here's a funny thing about this. I did not play this game or use the photo mode. I'd like to in the future. I just haven't. I don't play a lot on Xbox, even though I have one. I did get to watch Mick at the Fourth Focus do his video and coverage on it, and I was pretty blown away. And one of the big things that blew me away was the depth of field. Not only is it extremely easy to see where your focus is locking, but the depth of field in and of itself is really premium. It is so cinematic and high quality. I love how when you change the depth of field in Senua Saga, that the actual lens has this kind of bulging effect, which is accurate to a real camera's depth of field. I thought that was extremely impressive. Also, the lighting in this photo mode is really stellar. I mean, you can change it to any hue you want. You can move it anywhere you want. Again, this gives you that kind of control, and the virtual photographers out there who are utilizing this and being creative with this are stunning. I mean, they look like real images. The Lumen lighting technology with Unreal is, well, it's unreal. Straight up. Another thing that I really liked with the Hellblade photo mode when watching Mick's coverage is how you could pause during cinematics. Like, I don't know what other game lets you do that. I do remember in Jedi Survivor, you could do a little bit of that. But this seems to be pretty, again, I have not played it, but from what I heard and what I've seen, you could really pause it during any cinematic and just go in and get your own shots. Again, this is so cool, and this is a benefit of real-time cinematics happening. I love this kind of stuff. And the very last thing I want to do is just give some shout outs to some other games that I loved photographing, but I didn't quite think they were, spectacular enough or innovative enough to put on this list. One of them being Avatar. Avatar is actually my personal game of the year. I don't think any game I've played in the last 10 years has captured the fantasy of going into a different world and feeling like you were actually there. I mean, I've even played VR games and I don't feel as immersed as I do with Avatar. Something about the living nature of the world, just the rush of like jumping off a cliff and summoning your Ikron to fly. It was an exhilarating game. I'm still playing it today. The photo mode, it's serviceable, it's good. I'm glad they have one, but there's things like, there's no 90-degree tilt, stuff like that kind of stinks. But nonetheless, good game to capture. Another game by the same studio, Star Wars Outlaws. Loved it. One of my favorite games this year. You should check out my video on it if you want to hear more. It had a serviceable photo mode. It's actually better than Avatar's, which is interesting because the same studio developed it, so I know they're different teams, but nonetheless. But yeah, it was good. Again, nothing like crazy innovative, but I thought it was fun. I thought it captured gorgeous photos. And by the way, if you watched my PS5 Pro video, I'm happy to say that Avatar and Outlaws have been fixed. They don't have that weird shimmering with PS5 Pro. You can change it back to the default mode. Thank goodness. Another game with a great photo mode, Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. This was another one of my favorite games. Probably my second favorite game behind Avatar I played this year. It got so overlooked, I feel, by other games coming out and people just not knowing what this was all about. I am telling you, if you like The Witcher, if you like story-based games with actual consequences for your choices, play Banishers. It is incredible. It is heartfelt. It is absolutely gorgeous, and it has a photo mode, so get on it. And lastly, I want to shout out this new game that recently came out, Infinity Nikki. I've actually played so little of it that I'm going to use it in my 2025 photo mode bracket, so I'll probably be doing its own video and it will be included likely in the list next year. But I just wanted to give it a shout out, say check it out. It's free to play, at least on PlayStation. Yeah, it's just a blast to play and it's gorgeous, so check that out. It's got a photo mode, really good stuff. So anyway, tell me in the comments, what photo mode did you like the most? Or also tell me, what was your favorite game you played this year? What'd you like playing? What'd you like photographing? Have a good new year. Till next time.